Hi, welcome back. This is Dr. Love, and we're talking about meridian therapy. And we got a couple of questions from our listeners.
Hi, I'm a meat-eating drinker. What can you do to help me?
Well, that's kind of a loaded question. There is a health reason for reducing your consumption of animal products. Okay? So there's something called the Framingham Heart Study, which was tracked for 30 years. And they discovered that reducing animal products reduces your chances of heart attack.
Wow.
It has nothing to do with cholesterol. Absolutely nothing to do with cholesterol. So if we were extremely physical, like digging ditches, like climbing trees, things like that, then eating small amounts of animal products is probably not harmful. But since most of us are fairly sedentary and we sit at a desk all day, then eating animal products not only clogs the blood vessels, causing plaque and potential heart disease, but they also clog the entire digestive system so that the food doesn't flow. For example, fruits take about 3 hours to digest. Vegetables take about 8 hours to digest. Meat takes 5 to 7 days to digest.
And I eat 3 times a day.
So if you have a sandwich with bread and mayonnaise and cheese and lettuce and tomato and onions in between a big slab of meat, that meat is going to prevent the other food from completely digesting. It's going to slow down the whole process. So the other food will literally putrefy in your intestines, which then causes bad breath and body odor. Okay? So take a plate of food, put it outside for 7 days, and see how it degrades. And then see how it smells. And then that smell is literally inside of you.
Wow.
Okay? So, although I personally don't think there's anything wrong with eating small amounts of meat, there's a way to do that. So one way to do that would be to boil the meat. The toxins would then be released along with the fat. Pop it in the fridge for 10 minutes. The fat will congeal with the toxins. Take a fork, pop off the fat, shred the meat, mix it with rice and vegetables. That will make it easier to digest.
When you say, I'm sorry, when you say a small amount,
it's 3 to 4 ounces.
okay, that's okay. So what is a hamburger like?
4 ounces.
Okay.
So a typical hamburger is 4 ounces. Okay. Now, beef is 38% protein. What's the other 62%?
Fat?
It's fat because it's obviously not carbohydrate. So in my mind, beef is not a protein food, it's a fat food.
Because it's mostly...
Because it's mostly fat, and fat is what gives it the flavor. It's not the seasoning salt, it's the fat in the beef.
What about, say, hemp or avocado? Those are mostly fat too.
Actually, beans are 50% fat, but it's 50% protein. Okay? So hemp seed is 50% protein. Okay? Avocados is 38% protein, the same as beef. So there's vegetable fats that are what we call good fats, and there's animal fats that we call bad fats.
What would I do about the drinking?
Okay, about alcohol. Okay. Small amounts of alcohol, meaning an ounce a day, is probably not harmful. Okay? So that's hard liquor. 1 glass of wine, 1 beer a day is fine. 2 glasses of wine, 2 beers a day, not fine. Because your body interprets that as straight sugar. So drinking wine is your sugar and fat. Okay, so you might as well eat cheesecake with powdered sugar on top. Okay, if you're going to drink 2 glasses of wine.
Wow.
So,
It probably, yeah, it would probably taste better. What about people who drink socially and they smoke? Is there an organ that's related to social drinking?
okay, so social drinking, again, if you're not an athlete, if you're not a martial artist, if you're not on a spiritual path, social drinking is probably okay, because once or twice a week you might have a glass or two of wine. But then social drinking then turns into problem drinking. And the older we get, the more lax we become, because we think, oh, well, I'm over 50, I'm over 60, I can do what I want. And then we get ourselves into trouble. Okay? Now, smoking, occasionally, there's air pollution, there's water pollution, there's indoor air pollution. Smoking occasionally, probably not bad. But tobacco in this country is cured with sugar. Now, what do I mean when I say cured? Well, the tobacco leaf, when it's cut, is slightly damp, so we have to dry the tobacco. So typically, 100 years ago, they would just put the tobacco on racks and let it air dry. But now we want to speed up the process. So we burn sugar cane and we blow that smoke, that carbonized sugar cane, through these drying racks to speed up the drying process. So now the tobacco is cured with sugar. And now you're going to smoke tobacco with carbonized sugar in it. Probably not a good idea, because now you're putting sugar directly into the bloodstream.
So drinks are sugar.
And tobacco is sugar.
Wow. And why shouldn't we have so much sugar?
Okay, sugar is the gasoline of the body. So everything that you eat is broken down into glucose, which is the gasoline of the body. Now, we have polysaccharides, that's many sugars, which we call complex carbohydrates. And then we have simple sugars, which are 2-chain and 3-chain sugars. Now, potatoes is a simple carb. It's a 3-chain sugar.
Triglyceride.
So when potato starch hits your stomach acid cuts off one of the carbohydrate chains, and that goes directly into the bloodstream. Sucrose, which is table sugar, maltose, lactose are all 2-chain sugars. Again, the minute they hit the stomach acid lops off one of the carbohydrate chains directly into the bloodstream. Now, as your blood sugar levels rise slowly, the pancreas secretes insulin to bring it down slowly. But if the sugar goes up fast, then the pancreas shoots a lot of insulin to bring it down fast. So you have sugar high, sugar low, sugar high, sugar low, sugar high, sugar low, and eventually the pancreas says, I'm sorry, I don't feel like doing this anymore. I'll be out the back door smoking a cigarette. Okay? So let's say you like chocolate chip cookies. You have one, no problem. But then you'll have a second one. And then 15 minutes later, you want a third one. Why do you want the third one? Because the insulin has brought the blood sugar down so quickly and so low that you now need another cookie to bring your blood sugar levels up. So then you end up eating the whole bag of chocolate chip cookies.
Wow.
Or donuts or ice cream or whatever it is.
So the more you eat, the more your pancreas lowers your blood sugar.
The faster your blood sugar levels goes up, the pancreas will secrete enough insulin to bring it down fast.
So
and when it hits the bottom, then you want to eat more. Okay? Now, the brain is involved in this process because the brain says, I want nutrients, and you're eating sugar. And the brain says, I'm not satisfied. I want nutrients. And you say, well, I'll have another. And another. And the brain is like, I want nutrients. I'm not satisfied. So you keep eating even though you're physically full because you're not getting the nutrients.
And this is dangerous to my stomach?
It's dangerous to your whole system. The brain, the blood, the heart, circulation, everything.
So for the meat-eating drinker, right, in a one-line statement, right, where do I begin?
You'd have to reduce gradually unless you're willing and brave enough to go cold turkey. Okay? So we have a detox program, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the detox program.
Thank you, Dr. Love.